Oh, goodness. What up, Ragnar? It's going well. How you doing, man? Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm actually on time this morning. I actually woke up and got going. I don't know why the DJ stopped. He just said I'm taking a break. All right, let's write some effect, shall we? All right, here. So yesterday, where we leave off? Oh yeah, we were doing the batching on the we were doing batching on the YNAB requests. Explore if we could just resolve the create request without looking it up. Yeah, we're gonna actually look at the implementation of request complete effect. I wonder if it's using like a fiber ref under the covers. Let's see. Core.match effect complete fiberref.get. We have this map. Map works based on referential equality, I think. Yeah, maps work with referential equality, so we can't do that. Sometimes, chat, you just gotta dive into the source to figure shit out. All right, so we can't do, or we can kind of do. All right, well, from nullable here. In fact, I should fix this. So we should go to, I'm surprised it's not turned on by default. No property access from index signature. What is this? No property access from index signature. That's not what I... Checked a no property access from index signature. Ah, okay. That's not what I want. What is the TypeScript rule I want? It's like TS playground. This might cause some type errors, but it's well worthwhile. No unchecked index access. I don't know why that's not on by default. No unchecked indexed access. True. In fact, this should be true too. I don't know what no unused local is. Anyone know that? Enable error reporting when local variables. Oh, whatever. I don't care about that. Okay. That should give us some type errors now. So let's jump over here and go back. Yeah. If I go, I don't want to undo that. Let's paste that. I want to make sure I get a type error here. LSP restart. This should be, oh, it does become or undefined. Great, there we go. That's what we wanted. That would probably hit us in a couple other spots, but that's okay. All right, that looks good. That all looks good. And then we'll say here, if option.isNone is none, we'll pass in our request. We're gonna fail. We'll return yield star effect request.complete effect. And we'll say our request. Oh shit, what do we won't have the. That's actually really bad if this happens, now that I think about it. What do we even do in this situation? This is like a really bad situation if we ended up in it. I don't think it's possible, but like, maybe we die. Oh, what will we do here? Maybe there's a better way to do this. So we have transactions, or we have requests by ID. And we need a way to map these transactions back to this, or the created transactions back to its request. We could loop over the requests and then try to like use a hash, use the ID and try to just search the would that make sense? That actually probably does make the most sense. That probably does make the most sense. Okay. We want to go through this list. Okay, I'm cooking. We're cooking here. We're going to go here and get request ID. We're going to rename this, and it's going to be request ID from transaction. From new transaction. From transaction. And change that, and this is going to become a type that has the memo, which is a string. It's going to have a date, which is a date, and it's going to have an amount, which is a number, and we'll jump back over here, and we want the budget ID, which is a string. And we can get rid of basically all of these that have request in it. You can do that, and then we can get rid of we'll replace transaction with request. Or really, this is transaction. That is what we want. And we want to put it in transaction here. And we're going to rename this guy to transaction. And then down here, that's going to give us type errors here. We're going to do budget ID will be request.budget ID, and then we'll spread request.transaction. And that should be good. String is not assignable to type date. This would be a string. Here we go. Okay, so now we can map this. We'll say effect.map, and we'll get created transactions. And we'll just map over them. How do we want to do this? We basically want to do the same thing here. What we're going to do, this will be a string to a transaction detail, actually. And we'll get the previous, we'll get the accumulator, we'll get the current transaction. And then we're going to map that. Let's just come in there. That's the initial value. That closes that, that closes that, comma there. In this function, we do const request ID is going to equal request ID from transaction, and this is going to have our budget ID. And then we can do memo will be transaction.memo, or just an empty string, which we know that should be fine. We could almost return a tuple. No, we need to go through the requests. Amount, transaction dot amount, and then date will be transaction dot date. That will give us our lookup. Then we say accumulator request ID is going to equal transaction, and then we'll return the accumulator out. Created transactions, previous, current, expected one type argument, got two. All right, that needs record. That closes that. That closes that. This should be a record. This makes sense. I'm just going to do one of these guys for a second. All right, where am I screwing up here? I feel like I'm missing a paren somewhere. Because it was fine before I added this map. Thank Vizzy. What up, Nil? What did I do wrong here? We map, we get our created transactions, we reduce, that's implicitly returned, we return an object. Immediately that's pissed. Well, that's all right, actually. Let's, this might be okay, actually. This would be created transactions by request ID. And then we could do down here, this would be record.values, and that should fix that. That'd be by request ID. Okay, all right, that did fix everything here. Really, we shouldn't yield this because we should come down here and say if do we have a effect.is error, is failure? We're not gonna die here. We want to say const is failure equals yield star effect.is I wonder if that if is failure. We will do requests yield star effect dot for each. Then we'll get our request. This is like a clunky API, but like you have to do it this way. Request effect dot gen function star do. This will be requests, and then we want to we really want to get the error, which is like there is a effect.flip. That would give me that, yeah. In fact, we can put that out here. Or we'll put that here. And then we'll fail each of these. In fact, we probably don't need this anymore. We can go here and we can say request dot complete effect the request, and then it'll be effect dot fail and our error. Yeah. And then we want const. In fact, we should go back to this and we should rename this to effect. It's a bit better of a name. And then here, we'll take this and we'll get the success value because we know it's success at this point. And we get that, and then we can loop through, here we want to loop through the requests again. There's probably a better way to do this, but requests, changing word, request, and then in here, we get the request. We don't need to do this. And here we get the transaction instead. Created transactions by request ID. And now we'll get our request, or we'll do get I'm actually not convinced we need this anymore. Yeah, we really don't. We can map here instead. In fact, I do want that though. That's the part we need to copy down there. But we can get rid of this, and then this becomes we can do one of these guys, and we can simplify this. This becomes request.map, and we're going to just pull out the transaction, and then we'll return that. Right? And we get transactions there. That looks good. And we come down here, and that code that I copied and put here is what we actually want. And that's gonna go here. Uncomment that, we get a request ID. Jump over here, request ID. We index that, we have an option. If this is none, now we can fail with a good error of, let's toggle diagnostics for a second. We will say, grab this guy, and we'll come down here, and we will complete effect, and this is going to be our request, and we'll say effect.fail, and we'll pass in new create transaction error. It takes a budget ID, and it's going to take a cause, and we're going to say no transaction was found for, actually, let's create a new error for this. I'm just going to do it inline right here. So we say class no transaction found for request, or batched request. Extends schema.tagged error. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that. I'm starting to remember the order of these arguments naturally. We have other errors that oh no, this is maybe transaction. And then this would be maybe transaction.value. Yeah. And then I want to go back here, and we want this schema. This is going to take a we'll say a request ID, which will be a schema.string, and it's going to have a transaction memo, which will be a schema.string. It's going to have a transaction amount, which will be a schema.number. It's going to have a transaction date, which will be a string. And then we'll, on that cause up here, rather than putting a error message, we'll pass an error that has context attached to it. That makes debugging easier. You should release an EffectTS course. Maybe. Maybe. If I did an EffectTS course, I think I'd want to build it with Ethan together. All right, that looks pretty good there. All right, let's clean up what happens. We clean that up. We clean that up. That looks good. There was one spot, yeah, here. In fact, rather than getting this from the request, I want to create a tag, I think, and we will do, we'll come in here. And we'll do something like export. We're not going to export. We're just going to have a local tag. So let me do that up above here. Some AC/DC. When I was, how old was I? 15, because I didn't have my driver's license yet. Me and my friends didn't have our driver's license yet. But we bought tickets to see AC/DC in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which we grew up close to. And none of us had our driver's license yet, but we stole our friend's brother's car and we drove to Harrisburg and we all went to see AC/DC as like 15-year-olds, and it was fucking awesome. Hello, FBI. Lol. I mean, we didn't really like, stealing a brother's car isn't like stealing, right? Like, we took the brother's car. Like, the friend drove. Listen, compared to like the shit other kids got into in high school, like, we were good kids. We were not the problematic kids. I was a good kid in high school. SWAT on the way? Yeah, I've leaked my address enough times that I could get swatted. Actually, one time, a house across the street did get raided by SWAT. I have it on camera. It's crazy. I was in the middle of stand up. I was like 3 weeks into my job at Vercel, and I just hear a bunch of commotion outside, and I stand up and I looked outside, and I just see SWAT raiding a house. I was like, hey guys, look at this. Harrisburg is close to me. I grew up in York. Not me, don't worry. You live in York? Shut the fuck up. I went to West York High School. Like, my family still lives in York. So did I, 2004. You went to West York? Wait. You graduated in 2004? Oh my god, dude, this is crazy. So you're what? You're 7 years older than me. I'll be 40. Yeah, yeah. 8 years older than me. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Dude, we'll have to grab like coffee or beers or something. Did you have Mr. Arrow? Of course I had Mr. Arrow. How could I not have Mr. Arrow? This is this is fucking crazy. Uh I don't remember if I don't remember that specific, but I know I had Mr. Arrow. Oh, and dude, there's so many good West York lore stories. Jacoby, I'm sure Jacoby was there when you were there. Um, oh my gosh, this is wild. What are the odds? What are the odds that we went to the same high school? Dude, Jacoby was one of my favorites. This is crazy, chat. Big fan of Murphy. The name Murphy sounds familiar, but I can't remember. Did you go to Wallace Elementary School? Did you have Mrs. Mulroy as a kindergarten teacher? Did my mom teach you? My mom taught your sister? Oh my god. I'm losing my mind right now. That's crazy. That's crazy. What a small world. Yeah, my mom retired 2 or 3 years ago now after she taught for 36 or 37 years. Dude, you should hit me up on Twitter DMs or um Discord, or not Discord, or LinkedIn or something, and we should totally meet up next time I'm back in York. That's crazy. Do you work as a dev in York? I work out at Harrisburg. Nice. Nice, nice. That's crazy. I'm like losing my mind right now. What a small world. I've ran into people in stream that ended up going to the same college as me, but that's like totally different than like going to West York High School and like having a family member that had my mom as a teacher. That's so cool. This is like one of the coolest things that's ever happened on stream. There's a couple people from York that uh, work in tech and are pretty successful. I only know a group like around my age. Like I don't know if you know Nick Klingon. He's doing pretty well for himself. Zach Hershey. Um, who else do I know? Actually, I'm thinking of some friends from college. I don't know if you knew Josh Kokorlo. He's my age. He's now teaching. Josh did. Josh was like my best friend in high school. He did DoD contracting down in Timonium, and now he is a math teacher for Utah, uh, like Utah's state education online, and he works from home teaching math. It's hilarious. She's a couple years behind you. Gotcha. Man, that's crazy. What a small world. Current budget ID. All right, all right. Budget ID. So we'll do it this way, and we'll yield star. Current budget ID. What's this gonna need? Or current budget ID. I guess type of. Wait, how does that work? How do I reference a generic tag? Do I have to do like context.tag? Yeah. Is that how this works? No? How do I get the type of this? Context.tag. Whatever, we'll copy how we did the current account. Whatever, just do it like this. And this will be a string. Well, I gotta get to work. Have fun on your project. I'll DM on one of the socials so we can link up. Sweet, man. Nice meeting you. That's crazy. That's wild. I gotta go tell Justine about this chat. I'll be right back. Craziest thing that ever happened on stream chat. That was cool. What are the odds that a random person shows up and grew up in the same town as me, went to the same high school, knows my mom, and then their sibling had my mom as a kindergarten teacher? That's wild. My mind is blown right now. All right. All right, so we have this. We're gonna have to put this into context, which I need to look at how to do here. We want to do Command K batched. There is documentation for resolvers with context. We just pipe. We list the tag. Great. Man, that was so cool. So we need to pipe onto the end of, this is a clunky API. I'm glad they're changing this. Why? What is this supposed to return? Request.resolver. Do I need to return this? And then we return that and return that. And here, if we do x to x, little identity function. We get this a void, or we get this record string. That's not right. Do they return when they resolve? That does return. All right, we gotta solve this type error before we move on. Jesus. It's an array of where does it come from? Where does it go? Where does it come from, Cotton Eye Joe? All right, you guys, yeah, that's probably it. Probably done for the day after that one. I hate TypeScript types sometimes. Yield effect that is failure. This can't fail. None of these can fail. We return this option request. There's nowhere where this can fail. I hate that I did this now. I fully regret my decision here. Let's see, we can comment this out and, all right, so the problem comes before there. Before there. All right, so the problem is in this block. Ah, it's the flip. Yeah, it's the flip. All right. Big Cotton Eye Joe enjoyer. Big Cotton Eye Joe day. I feel like I've played this before on stream. But have you guys heard the country roads where it gets more deranged every time? Country roads deranged. I think this is so funny. This is one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. Take me home, country roads, except I lose all grasp on reality during the chorus. Let me, make 24.5. This is my favorite chat. So good. Yeah. It's so good. This is what YouTube was meant for. The kids have lost all grasp on what this app or this site was made for. They'll never know. The kids today will never know what YouTube was like in like 2009 era. They will never know. It's a classic. It's a damn shame. Well, that's quite a change up. It's actually showing up again on my Insta feed. The internet is healing. Let's go. All right, so flip is not the thing we want here. What is the combinator we want? We want effect dot, can I just get the error? Tap error, run error. Oh, I know what I want. We're gonna flip, and then we're going to ignore the error. We will do one of these guys, and we'll just say effect.void. Or maybe that's not right. I just want to like discard the error. Or like on error. Effect dot and then. Motherfucking face. There has to be a way to discard an error here. What is the combinator? I feel like I'm having a stroke that I can't think of the freaking combinator to freaking get rid of an error. Error channel operations. Here we go. Map error, map both, filter of else, inspecting, tap error tag, tap error cause, tap defect, exposing errors in the success channel. Yeah, well, I just want to like discard an error. Dot pipe effect dot on error. Ensures the cleanup effect runs whenever the calling effect fails, providing the failure clause. It returns a cause E effect. That's not what we want. We want like map error. And we can do or die. Or die would probably work. Yeah, that's actually what we wanted. Very good. We need to run this. Yep, there we go. That's good. We might have figured it out, chat. Boom. Mic drop. All right, theoretically, we have batched create transactions now. Theoretically. Last time I tried this, I got deadlocks. Dot pipe, and then we want request resolver dot context. Or what is the provide context? Resolvers with context. Context from services. Does that let us pass a... I'm assuming that's a context from services. Does this take a iterable? And this will just be YNAB and get our current budget ID. Sure, we have to move this down. That's fine. We'll move this down. We'll just put it down here, I guess. Yeah, that works. They just created a closure here. That makes sense. We're not going to do that. But we are going to come up here and we're going to go to create transactions. And in here, this is now going to become a one of these guys, and we'll return a effect.gen function star boom boom. And here, take you, find that. It's having a stroke. Delete that, put that in there, return that. And we're going to yield. Actually, we're not going to yield anything because we're closed over, right? So we can come here and we can say, God, effect is so good, chat. We can do effect.provide service. And we've created a recursive dependency. We've created a small recursive dependency, but we can fix this. It's going to be like, you've referenced yourself. This, can I do that? Yeah, I can't do that. Because now this has a dependency on itself, right? Is this closed up? Yeah. Type equals effect.context. Return type. Of type of. Yeah, we're gonna have to refactor our resolver actually. We're gonna take this and we're gonna go down here. We can't yield YNAB. It's like a recursive dependency. So what we're gonna do instead, we're gonna get rid of U. And where does client come from? We're instead gonna do We're gonna use dependency injection again. And here we're going to get, we're just gonna do another, that doesn't even need to be exported. Delete word. We're gonna paste that, and here this is gonna be just YNAB internal, or we'll just do async YNAB client. And yoink that, go in here, that, same thing here, and this is gonna be YNAB.API. And we'll yield that here. And this will be async YNAB client. And that's gonna break when we go to actually do this part. And we're gonna have to do yield star effect dot try promise. And we're gonna do try throw to do catch. This will be cause throw to do. And here we're going to need to do return, we don't need this, return client dot transactions dot create transactions. This takes the budget ID and then transactions. And what do you return? This is async const x equals await. Save transaction response. X dot data dot transactions. Yeah. So just dot then, and we'll get data. And finally, we'll do one of these guys, data dot transactions or an empty array. And we'll return that. And then down here, we need to return a create transaction. To yang to comma, there we go. So we can then take this pipe, we can delete this, and this is going to be that, and we'll grab this pipe and basically move it up to here, and then that should hopefully just work. We have 10 errors still, not looking great, but you know, we can possibly make it work. What do we got here? We got created, that looks good. We need to provide this down here. In this thing, we want that to be that. Ah, right. Right. We don't yield this. All right, we're down to YNAB.transaction detail string. Okay, that was a weird error. Yeah. So now in here, we provide our other function, right? So we'll do async YNAB client, and this will be client. Oh, come on. That just probably means that this function, because it's batched now. God, these TypeScript types are so huge. Freaking YNAB doesn't use interfaces and opaque types, so we get that giant type inline. That's one thing that Mike Arnaldi has changed my opinion on, is interfaces versus types and opaque types. Not always, but sometimes I've come around to them more. Return type, type of, create transactions. Never. That's actually correct. Success. Wait, did I do this in the wrong one? Wait, I totally did this at the wrong spot. Oh, we didn't yield something somewhere. It's all right. We'll figure that out. It's because I wrapped that in a function and then didn't return it. Maybe. Yeah, right here. We actually don't need this. There we go. All right, we need to figure out how to wire up the resolver now. So I think in here, this doesn't, we don't do this. Let's get this wrapped. This is gonna return effect.gen function star that to do. Get rid of this. And then here I think we yield star. Let's say const, let's toggle diagnostics for a second. Const underscore equals effect.request, and we pass it a create transaction request, and that takes a budget ID and a transaction, and then this takes our resolver, create transaction resolver, and we have so many errors here. I That's not right. All right, we should, okay. All right, we can work with this now. We'll say this is going to be V2, toggle diagnostics. Here we go. I don't think we just have this closed up correctly. Yeah, we don't. That's wrong. All right, hold on. We're getting our order operations here. Yeah, I'm very glad they're changing this API. This is like clunky to implement. Say mommy. Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry. Okay, that actually looked like it worked. Does this return? Nice. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere, chat. It's coming together. This pipe actually goes here. We can get rid of that. Okay. And we can provide our provide service. This is where we're going to do our dependency injection. And we'll say async YNAB client is going to be client. There's one. That should remove. Yeah, you see how it removed? If I uncomment that line, 12 down, we take that away and we go back up to 12 and we look at, now we have a dependency. This effect can't run until we provided an async YNAB client and a current budget ID. So we're going to go ahead and do a effect.provide service that removes the requirement for the async. And then we're going to do the same thing here. And we're going to say current budget ID. And this will be the budget ID that comes in. Now this is in our context, almost like async local storage, that our resolver that we implemented can use to get those out of context because we can't pass it directly through the function. Brilliant. I love effects dependency injection. It is so good. It makes it super testable. So good, chat. Let's see here. Create transaction. Beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to come here and we're going to delete this. And we're going to rename this to V2 and we're going to go update the interface. So this should be batched now. Create transaction error. What is the error? Ah, okay. I see. You want to go update that again. This is going to be create transaction request, and we'll just grab the transaction type from that. Still wrong? Sus? How about now? Ah, the... That seems wrong. Ah, I see what I did wrong. Yeah, I see what I did wrong here. Okay. We have to go update our definitions in here. We might have to do a... This should be fine to do. Actually, we would want to do that here. That's what I missed. We need to, basically, this schema right here is going to map the amount to milliunits, which is what we want. And we can get rid of, yeah, this. Deletes around there. We can get rid of this pipe. Yeah, now we see our type errors are gone. I just missed a parse. Did I delete something here that I wasn't supposed to? I did. When did I just do that? Right there.
Functions describe the
So that'll be transaction detail, that's fine, and then we come back up here, add that, yeah. Decode, array, yep. Replace that with that, come over here, throw that in, and delete that, find that. Are we in there? Go to view mode, please. Get rid of that pipe. We're good there. Boom. Now we have a batch resolver. That was a lot of work. But we now have batching, which means that we won't get hit by rate limits. which was the big problem I had in my original implementation. And this should now work correctly such that we won't get deadlocks either. Oh man, I'm out of coffee. That sucks. Mm. All right, so let's go back to our main sync script. And in here, that's probably fine for now. I'm gonna ignore that. We handle expense. Yeah. And let's open up our plan, right? If there is not an existing sync transaction, I think that's where we're at, right? Handle new sync transaction. Now we want to come in here and we want to create the YNAB transaction. I think we might still end up deadlocking. Where do they run this? Here we go. Notify owner. I'm a bit worried that because it's not the last step that we're going to deadlock. Is anyone from the Effect team in chat? I'm seeing if I can get some help from the effect team. All right. I kind of expect that this isn't going to work, but we'll find out. So we should be able to come in here and say YNAB dot transactions dot create transaction, and this is like our batched. This is our batched guy here. This is going to take input dot budget. Oh, we do need the budget. All right, let's just add that to the YNAB budget ID is going to be a string. And we'll just say that has input.budget, YNAB budget ID, and then we need to create a transaction, which we can come and crib from how we did it in our original one. So we want YNAB dot create or transactions dot create transaction. We've lost dancing. Like, we should just pass a budget sync account here. Rather than that, we'll just say this is the budget sync account. And we can do budget sync account. That shouldn't be ID. All right, we gotta get the shares. Yeah. Yeah. All right, chat. I gotta let the dogs out real quick. We'll be right back. All right, dogs have been let out and they're being fed. All right. We want to come in here and we're gonna go grab the code where's it at? We want to get the current user shares. Yeah, we want this and counterparty share. Yep, that's the exact code we want. And let's come in here and paste that there. We'll just say this is input.expense. Same here. This will be input dot budget sync account dot splitwise user ID. What up, Colin? What up, Zach? Why is my code action not working? That's annoying.
Oh, it smells nice in here. Look at how my elbow got attacked.
Yep, I have that all over my foot is so swollen.
The
Yep.
back of my legs are the worst, I think.
Yep.
And like right here, I think I have to change into leggings today.
Yeah, I need to put on longer socks because
I'm so itchy.
yeah, the bug bites are really bad.
We got fucked.
We got wrecked by mosquitoes the other night, chat.
Oh, this is awful. They're like all in my tattoo too, which is really funny. Like, look at that.
Yeah. Wrecked.
Ugh. Ow.
I signed up for a 5K last week too, Colin. My regret is real also. Alright, we got that. Input dot. We should extract this to a function. Now that I think about it. We'll do that here in a second. Okay. This will be, actually, we do need this current user share. And this will become current user share dot net balance. All right, let's extract this into a function. I want this to be, where do I want to put this? Maybe in the prelude? I don't know, we'll write it down here for now. Function get shares from expense. And this is going to take an expense, which will be an expense. And this is going to return an object that has user and counterparty. And these will be, what is the type on this? users. I think it's called a share. I think it's just called a share. Is what we've made it in the model. So let's come in here. This will be share. Yeah, nice. Okay, that is what it is. Party, and that will be a share. And return that. Let's say that's going to be read only. And then in here, in fact, this is going to have to be an effect. Let's just get rid of that. And we're going to go grab this code. We'll come down here and throw that here. And input needs expense and budget sync account ID, or budget sync. So we can say this is going to have input. So that'll be input. We can basically copy some of the types from this input. Where's it at? Yeah, we can copy those two. And that'll go there. Bada bing, bada boom. I think I'm gonna stand for a little bit, chat. After eating, it's very hot. Iced coffee or regular coffee? Depends what time. If it's early in the morning, hot coffee still. I just like can't do cold coffee first thing in the morning. But if it's hot, like in the kind of middle of the day, probably like a iced Americano or something. Return user current user share, and then counterparty party counterparties. All right, that seems like and we'll do EffectTS span, get our telemetry set up on this function. I don't know where I want this function to live yet. In fact, we'll keep it in here. Budget sync dot get, what is the name of this function? Get shares from expense. From expense. We'll give this some attributes to help with debugging. And this will have the budget sync account ID. So we'll do budget sync dot account dot ID, and this will have input budget sync account dot ID. We'll do how do we do this above? Yeah, we'll do that. Splitwise expense dot ID. That's probably good there. Now we have good tracing on that. All right. So now we have an easy way to get our shares. And we can come up here and we can get our shares. say const shares equals yield star get shares. Let's actually rename that. No, that's fine actually. And we can just pass our input straight through. Nice.
Dylan. Mute.
All right. Sorry, we had an obnoxious neighbor.
What are you saying there?
Get users full name from share. Where is this at? User full name from share. I could probably move that function over into there. Every goddamn project I've been in having AI been haunting me. Today I fixed 2 bugs. Yeah, AI sucks, dude. I mean, AI is useful for some things, but like, man, it's brutal for other things. It's like exhausting to use. That's what I think it is. AI is exhausting to use if you're like a more experienced programmer, I think. Because like it's like it can be, it's like enough to knock you out of flow state, and like you still have to like watch it and monitor it. I don't know how to explain it, but did I not have the currency? Oh yeah. Yield star. YNAB transaction. Yeah. And then here we're going to persist our synced transaction. I should map that to a, what does this return? To create YNAB.create transaction error, because we don't need to map that. We can come in here now and say equals yield star db dot sync create sync transaction. fact, we should drive this off the transaction here. This would be YNAB transaction dot amount. Does this, that takes a number. Okay, that's fine. That's structurally equivalent. YNAB transaction dot amount. Then we need a splitwise expense ID, and that'll be input dot expense dot ID. Then we have a, okay, we don't need any of that. This will be our sync transaction. Const synced transaction. Synced transaction dot. And what can this return as an error? I think we can map this. Oh, what is this upset about? Sure. I feel like my LSP isn't working completely. This song is Patha Patha Goo Goo Drill Remix by Trinix Remix. We're gonna just turn off that. This is a stupid rule, I don't like it. I wanna know. Got some Phil Collins now. All right, so I think we have, yeah, we can delete this code. I don't know what flowy seal is. All right. So that is new sync transaction. If is sum, right here we can just return handle new synced transaction input, which is going to take a budget sync account, which we can just pass that through, the expense, and we need a sync record, which will be sync record.id. In fact, I don't even know if we use the sync record. We do use it for tracing, but that's about it. In fact, we should update our sync transaction entity to have an array of sync records associated with it. Like we do that for, we did that for notifications before. Where is that? Status. Is that on expense actually? Where the hell did we put this? Content. Is it on here? No. Payment? No. Did I delete this field? I thought it was on this one. Related notification IDs. Yeah, that's what we want. We're going to put that on the synced transaction. So throw that right there. Related, and this will be sync record IDs. And do we do anything with this? Yeah, this is where yeah, okay, so we just union the existing. All right, so to make that, we should get type errors in here now. Yeah. And we can do related sync record IDs, and then we just pass in input.syncRecord.id. Yep. This is string. And this should be better now. I don't know why that's not. LSP restart. That should fix itself. Related sync record IDs. Oh, I changed this in the wrong file. Ha! That should be a string. Skill issue. That fixes that. Great. All right. That looks good. Now we need to... we should handle no op. Right. We did something smart here in the first iteration where we had like a sum type that had where is it? Yeah, this guy right here. Sync result was this sync result dot type, which was this process skipped. So I kind of want to do the same thing, something similar here. So let's come up and I want to have like this type that's going to be processed or handled synced transaction result handled, I guess sync result is going to equal maybe we can use our sync record for this. In process error. No. We'll call it a sync result for now. I don't love using the word result because it's kind of overloaded and implies success and failure. But we'll just deal with that for now. And actually, we want to bring back, where was that spot with the union? Process, here we go. I want to copy something like this. So we'll say we have a const created, created synced transaction. Or let's just say created, and this will be schema dot tag struct, and we'll say created, and we'll have we'll put a budget sync account ID on. In fact, we can copy some of this. Move that over. I don't want the notification ID. Do we want the sync transaction on there? Yeah, probably actually. Synced transaction entity.entity. That works there. And we want to sync record too. Sync record ID, and we'll say that will be a schema.string. We'll sort these. There we go. And then we can come down here and we can say updated. Updated. And we'll have another one for deleted. Yes, sure. We probably want the YNAB, well, the sync transaction. We don't need the expense IDs on here because that will be on the sync transaction. And then we probably want a skipped. Is there a skipped? Yeah, there is a skipped. Skip deleted. And that'll be that. That doesn't get us, that this will take an expense ID, which is a schema. Dude, we're getting some freaking bops. Number. And then our sync result. Yeah. Const sync result is going to be a schema.union of created, updated, deleted, and skip deleted. Do you use form actions in SvelteKit? I do. All right, so we have this sync result.type. And down here, we can start using that then. So in our function for handling new, rather than returning a sync transaction, we're going to return a created.make. And this is going to take yank surrounded word, that. What else does this thing need? This probably needs a budget sync account ID, even though that's on the sync transaction. Whatever, we'll just put it there. sync record ID, that's going to be off the input dot sync record ID. Same with the budget sync. What is this missing? Date. Yeah. And then here, we will return skip deleted dot make. And this will have the budget sync account ID, which is going to be input budget sync dot ID. Then we're going to have sync record ID, which is input dot sync record ID. The expense ID, input expense ID, and finally a date, I think. Yeah, new date. All right, that looks good. Yes, Ethan, I do want to hear something funny. If the expenses created or updated. So we're going to want this. And we're going to write a function here. We'll go here. This is going to be handle existing. And we can copy this type. But this is going to have a slightly different type on it, because now we have a sync transaction to work with. Handle existing sync transaction, and we'll put the sync transaction itself on here. Yeah. Good afternoon. I owe you a response on either email or Twitter. I haven't forgotten. I was just super busy yesterday. Oh. If I ever forget to respond, though, don't forget to badger me. I lose track of stuff easier than I should. So this will be handle existing sync transaction. And here, if this expense type, let's go through this and just comment this out for a second. And if this was a, or what can this be, created, this is now an error here. Let's go look at our error list, see if we have anything in here. Previous sync found. All right, let's create an error here. That will be we kind of want this to be created expense type for existing synced transaction error. That's wordy, but that's exactly what it is. And I'd rather be explicit. And this should have, so let's take a budget sync account ID. This is going to take an splitwise expense ID. And then I want a sync transaction ID. In fact, I don't even know if my sync transactions have IDs. I might have to come up with a hashing function. Schema.string. Return yield star new created. Yep. And this is going to take budget sync account ID, which will be input budget sync account.id. It's going to take a splitwise expense, input.expense.id, and then our sync transaction. I don't think they have IDs. They don't. Let's actually just add a sync record ID instead. Yeah, there we go. That's now an error. So now we need a path. Let's do a handle deleted. And we want a function that's like, we can probably copy what we've got here again. So jump up, grab this, jump down. This is going to be handle delete synced transaction. And that's going to take, you don't need that. Those are the things we need there. Handle delete. Yep, like that. So we'll come in here. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about this code. We're going to come in here and we're going to delete the transaction. So let's say const deleted YNAB transaction is going to equal yield star YNAB dot transactions dot delete transaction. This is going to take a budget ID, which that will be on our budget sync account. YNAB budget ID. And then this takes a transaction ID, which will be input.synced transaction.ynab transaction ID. Yep, and what's this return? All right, we want to map this to a delete. This guy right here. Dot pipe effect dot map error cause new delete YNAB transaction error budget sync account ID input budget sync account ID the cause and the YNAB transaction ID, which is input sync transaction YNAB. Yep. Map error. Oh, whoops. Another one? There we go. So we get a deleted transaction here. And then we want to come in and soft delete our const deleted synced transaction. It's going to equal yield star db dot soft delete sync transaction, and that's going to take that feels like we can have a better API for that. Soft delete transaction. I don't really want to delete a sync transaction ever. I think we can get rid of this. We should really just make this take a sync transaction. Change around that, and then we can just do input.sync transaction. That's a much better API. And then let's go back to our errors and see if we have perfect. Do a nice little effect.map error, get ourselves a better error here. We'll return a new soft delete sync transaction entity error. Gonna get a budget sync account ID, input budget sync.id. It's gonna take the cause. It's going to take the YNAB transaction ID, which will be input synced transaction.ynab transaction ID. And this will take our splitwise expense ID. And then we can get rid of this. And we can take this, and instead of created, this will be deleted. Oh, whoops. This is deleted sync transaction. Yeah. Okay, and then down here, this is going to be change a word. That'll be sync transaction, and this will be change to that splitwise expense ID. We'll grab YNAB dot transaction dot ID YNAB dot transaction ID. There we go. Handle delete sync transaction. That looks good. And we can come up here to our flow. And we can say if expense type is equal to deleted, we can return yield star handle delete synced transaction and probably just pass the input through. Yep. Chat, this is looking good. And the last one is we're going to do updated, right? So expense type should be now equal, yep. We should be able to say expense type is updated. Is this how I do this? I don't remember how to do this. All right, last one. We're gonna take this. Oh man, I'm tired. Going that. And the last one will be, actually we should take from here. Yoink that, go down here, and this is gonna be, rather than deleted, this will be handle update. And then in here, we need to we could batch the updates. And this needs, I think this is going to need the same payload. As this. Whoops. SOS word. Oh god, what'd I do? What just happened? Why did my syntax highlighting break? Oh god. We're just gonna quit. And right quit all. Vim in. Oh, Maxwell, I was looking for you. Can you jump on a call quick on stream? Is that cool with you? I just want to ask you about a batching implementation that I'm kind of afraid I might deadlock
Functions
or
describe
something similar to a
the
deadlock.
world.
It shouldn't take very long. All right, I'll call you in Discord in just a second. Let me jump down here. And we will just comment out basically all of this. All right. All right, chat, we're going to bring a member of the Effect team onto stream here. See if we can get this to work without too many issues. Let me know how the audio is, chat. Yo, can you hear me? Bueller? Bueller? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, sweet. I'm gonna share my screen, and I'll show you what I've got going on with batching. Make selection, share. Whoops, I just shared the wrong thing. Change, stream, stop streaming, share screen, make selection, share all application windows. Can you see my screen? How about now? I see that I'm sharing it here. Okay. Okay, so I am trying to implement batching for posting transactions to YNAB, which is like the budgeting app I use. And let me show you like my implementation of how I did batching. So in here, is the font size okay? Okay, cool. Then I will get to where it's at on stream. All right, so I guess I'll stop sharing my screen on Discord. I was having problems doing this the other day too, which is really annoying. Devices, applications. What about now? Can you see my code editor on Discord? Is that better by chance? Okay, now there won't be a delay. So I have this create transaction and it can be batched and it just takes this budget ID and like the payload to create. I have this create transaction request, which is like the request object from effect. And then I call effect.request and I pass in my resolver. The resolver has two dependencies, which is like this async YNAB client and the current budget ID, which I just provide inline here. If we go and look at my resolver, like none of this should be super exciting yet. I get those two things I just dependency injected. I do some formatting. I then basically key my transactions by a request ID, which I basically just create like a hash of the request. Do some of this stuff, not super important. If I get an error, I basically just flip and then process the request with that error. Like that seems right. Okay, cool. Is there a better way to like discard the error channel other than or die? At this point, I know it's fine because I checked if it's a failure, but I wasn't sure if there. Because it's saying this effect can fail. Like if this doesn't narrow the type, right? So if this technically fails, even though it can't, it's putting the success value before it's flipped into the error channel, which doesn't line up with the request resolver type. Yeah, that's true. I might do that. Okay, and then after assuming it's a success, I run it. Oh, this is another question. Will the result of this effect, is it cached when I do effect.isFailure? Like when I do yield effect is failure, and then down here when I do effect.flip, is that cached or does the whole effect run again? Okay, that's good to know because I do want to. That kind of forces my hands here. Yeah, let's just do a match. All good. Moves. I don't know what just happened here. Yeah, we'll do that. Cause. You're fine. You're all good. We'll do that. I don't know why my webcam got moved over. We're gonna wait to try to fix that until I'm off this call with Maxwell. Then we'll have that there, and then in here we will take this and we will take that, and that goes there. Oh, damn it. All right, that looks good. And then we can get rid of all of this. And we can come up here and change to E, return yield. There we go. That looks better. What up, Monad? all good. Okay, dude. Hope all is well. We'll chat later. No problem. Peace, dude. All right, we're back. I don't know why my camera got bumped. Webcam properties. Oh, is that this? Oh, nope, you guys want to see the other angle of my room? There we are. Let me get the music going again. See if we can fix this webcam. There we go. That's more better. Bun run. Do I have a biome fix? Cat package.json. Did I make a biome script? Biome. Check. Funx biome lint. Biome format. Great. All right, we'll find out if we got it right. All right, let's go back to our sync, and we can go back to where we were working in here. Which is in here. And we're gonna update in this case. So we update the transaction. So we wanna get the shares. Get shares from expense. We'll take that, throw that there. What does this take? Get shares from budget sync account. That should be good. Oh, we do need the expense on here. We need the expense, which is a expense. All right, let's see here. Should be ID, I think. And we'll have input.synced transaction.ynab transaction ID. We won't need that. These can get changed. We kind of want to we'll add a sync record ID here too. And this will be input.sync record ID. And we probably want to do that for create transaction too. We'll do strid, which is sync record ID. Actually, we should put that after the description. Let's take that and we'll put it here. Do that. Yep, and then we'll do the same thing back down here. Did that twice. All right, that looks good. Where's update? Can we update that? This is going to be updated synced transaction. And this will be updated. Yep. We have to update the update synced transaction by splitwise expense ID. Sure. So this will be input dot synced transaction dot expense ID. And this is going to take the YNAB transaction ID. Whoa. Shit. And we're updating by ID, so it should be safe to do what do we get here? The problem here is this comes back as an array. So we look at data, it's going to have, yeah. So we really want this to be data. We want to do option dot from nullable. And we're going to do data dot at the 0th index. And that should flatten. If we look at the type here, yeah. Because we did and then instead of map, it flattens the option. And this could be no such element exception. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Dot amount. We can go over here and do updated YNAB transaction.id. And what else do we need on this guy? We put the amount on there, didn't we? I guess not. Amount. Updated YNAB transaction.amount. And the last thing we need is deleted at. We don't need that. And then we return that. This will be update synced transaction entity error. Perfect. Okay, this looks pretty good here, chat. And we can wire these two functions up. Or really, we throw this here. handle updated sync transaction input. Thank you, Jero. Welcome, Raiders. I have bad news because I have to wrap up here. I've got a meeting here shortly, but we're going to try running this quick. We are just getting ready to, I think I'm at a position to actually run our new sync. Handle, update sync transaction, and this is going to take our budget sync account. It's going to take our expense. It's going to take a sync record ID, sync transaction, and our sync record ID, which is the sync record.id. This will be maybe sync transaction dot value. Thank you for the follows, y'all. Super appreciate you. So we get our expenses, and we should then be able to go return yield star effect dot. I guess we could do partition for now. And this takes a iterable. So we'll do splitwise expenses. And this should give us a function that gets an expense. Let's see if that's true. Yep. So really, we can come here and we can say change to their handle expense. Ah. That's so nice. That's so nice. So this will, let's run this from main and see if we can get this to possibly work. Sync is v2. What dependencies is this missing right now? YNAB and splitwise, budget sync. Yeah, that's okay. So we'll come in here. Wait, that should be. Okay, so it just needs YNAB. Layer.provide merge. And we'll import YNAB. Client. YNAB.layer. All right, and then we'll get our result, const result, and then we'll just console.log the results. Yield star effect.log info, and we'll do a JSON.stringify results null 2. And the account that we are going to process against is going to be, I'm going to have to reauth my AWS account quick. AWS. It is a Voyager, CSA Voyager. Okay. And this should be my test one, I think. All right, should we give it a go, chat? See what happens? Right now, our batched, I wonder if partition supports batching. Nice, it does. Sick. All right, let's give it a shot. Bun, run, source, rip. Deleted transaction is not defined. Delete sync transaction is not defined. All right, I do want to try this. Oh, I did delete the sync transaction, didn't I? We're just going to yoink you and add you back. And we have to fix this. All right. Damn, this is going to be such a pain in the ass. I guess this doesn't need this. Soft delete. Sync transaction entity. Sure. Synced transaction entity. Dot. Oh, I know what I did. This is actually okay. Hopefully this lets me run it. Oh. Something happened. I don't know what that is. Did we get any records made? We did. We made a sync record. I wonder if we created transactions. Let's go look. Another crab rave. Test budget, Splitwise. Let's just delete these and delete that record quick. And try running again. I have no idea what this thing is here. It looks like we didn't yield something in, God, I want to try to fix this quick. We added this field, schema dot array of schema dot string. I don't know why this is set. Whatever, we'll come back to that tomorrow. Yeah, our results should be partitioned. I wonder if we come into here and we turn batching off. Batching should be disabled. False. Let's see if this works. No, we still get this random ass with runtime, blah, blah, blah. The last thing we can look at is our traces on Axum. I don't know what's going on here, chat, but we're gonna have to wrap up. First try. Already, Janet. All right, chat. I will talk to you later, or I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll figure out what's going on here with this weird ass bug.